Crosby from the corner, twisting and turning inside out. Beautiful move, trying to get the shot on. He holds, he shoots, he scores! Absolutely!
The pitch, high fly ball center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall. Goal!
Roethlisberger gives him a lot of room here. Juju Smith-Schuster off to the races inside the 30, the 20, the 10.
Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sports Line in the BPTV studios, part 2. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine, Smoking Jim Frazier, Nick Callis, Chip Hayner's on leave from a knee replacement, healing up very well. Probably won't see him till after the new year. And thanks for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and from Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, and all points in between from the city of Pittsburgh to the greater Pittsburgh area. Thanks for all the Facebook likes. That's Pittsburgh Sports Line. That's why, Nick, I mention it each time. It's always because of Jim Audet. And he was always a great friend of ours, still is. Just celebrated my 8th anniversary with Jim Audet. And we have 6,934 likes, trying to get up to 7,000. All right, we got some promos here. Let me see if I can get my mic hooked up. Sorry about that. This is only my 700th plus show. Unlike Smoking Jim, I know how to click it on right here now. How's that sound check? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, thanks, Nick. All right. Let's see what our man A2 can do. Let's see what he did. Wow. Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Frank Venero said hello. He's glad to sponsor our show with an XL pizza. Steak hoagie cut in 6 slices. We enjoy it. They're at Hillcrest Shopping Center, 412-831-1900. They're always advertising in local mail and papers, so check them out. Great Italian food, great salads, great desserts, great soup on these chilly days in Bethel Park, unlike Gateway and Monroeville. It's never chilly there, even though friends of mine said, "What's your temperature?" And I said 23. They go, "Oh, ours is 24."
You're preaching to the choir.
Really? Well, you don't feel hot or cold. So I don't know what that even means. But somehow you get sick or you're dying with a quadruple bypass or an accident. But other than that, you don't feel hot or cold.
I'm doing great.
All right, check them out, Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Next up, we end each show with Stay Joey Strong. Let's see what A2 did on this. He's on fire. There's Joey before DIPG, after DIPG. It's a dreaded brain cancer. Killed him before his 9th birthday. He was 8 years old 6 years ago. And the family has started the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3. You can donate money, and unlike Smoking Jim, you can write it off because he doesn't have a government name. But sorry we got these little innuendos and stuff. I'm not picking on him. I'm just going by what he says when he comes in almost each time. And just another side note, his 22-inch size 22 shoes looked a little bit large. He was walking through the door and almost tripped. But other than that, he's good. So check out Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. Their biggest event is the 5K 1-mile run every 3rd week in September at the high school. Superheroes race, and they raise a lot of money. They've raised over $100,000 to give to Dr. Gary at Children's Hospital to try to find a cure for DIPG, and he said look for something in the next couple years. So we're optimistic there. All right, this next one, excuse me, Always Be Smiling. Want to thank everybody and all my friends for pumping up the page. Over 300 of my friends. On the 5th, we ended up reaching 1,000 likes with Always Be Smiling. I sent Nick a message with a bunch of others to like the page, and he goes, "Oh, I should have liked that before." And I was sending out 500, invites, and I'm like, what did he even mean by that?
The Always Be Smiling page.
But I thought he
I
had
can't believe I
already.
didn't like it.
I thought he had already liked it
I thought I did too.
because I've been saying it every week. But that was a little. You know how the Steelers miscommunicate? We're a sports show. Not only we miscommunicate, we don't hear or understand what we were trying to talk about. But that's just my opinion. And Always Be Smiling. Kristen thanked us for all the help we did in providing, likes for them and getting awareness to their page. It's named after Bennett, their 16-year-old son that died after his second kidney transplant, that his dad, Dean, got him a second transplant. And it's in honor of him. They help families that have chronic kidney disease and other issues, and they just help a lot of people in our community and run different events. So check them out. All right, another 501c3. A2's on fire. Look at that. I'm even shaking on this a little bit. Look at that. A little shake for the camera. Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road. The red trolley, you can't miss it. Just a great location. They just paved their driveway up there. They've remodeled the whole building, 107 windows, you name it, new roof. They've come up with all these things from a 1905 schoolhouse. Has a library there, has military uniforms, yearbooks from Bethel Park. They can do events when they're able to, and they just have a new auditorium. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, which I'm a trustee on, gave them money, and the top floor they have the Bethel Park Community Foundation Auditorium. So a lot of great things being done in Bethel Park. And they also have a great tea place called Reginald's Coffee, and I get my green tea there. They have great Wi-Fi there. They have chairs outside. You can sit there on a cold day like today and get your Wi-Fi. So there's all kind of options there. All right, next up, great local business, Senior Helpers, 100 Broughton Road, 412-851-3223. Tell Jeff you heard about Senior Helpers with Al Levine, the talking machine on Pittsburgh Sportsline. Great local business, just been around for about a year. They help people at my age and older, even a little younger. They may even be able to help Smoking Jim walk to his car. They may be able to help put gas in his car for him, since he has about 8 gas cans, that he has loaded up there. But just from what I heard, because in Monroeville, it's always sunny in Monroeville. And they help...
Rainbows.
Yes, and they help other seniors, mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, you name it, grandparents. They can help you in many different ways there. And some of it they give care with Alzheimer's and dementia, Parkinson's, companion care, personal care, transitional care, chronic disease care, VA benefit assistance, and many other things. So check them out. Again, the phone number, call Jeff, 412-851-3223. All right, let's see what we got next here. We'll test A2. All this literature here. All right, great event coming up December 12th. Let me see if I can get this situated. All right, look at that, the Dean Strader concert, December 12th. I'll read it. Doors open at 2. Performance starts at 2:30. Bethel Park Community Center. It's only 5 minutes from our studio, Smoking Jim. That's where it's at. And community band South will be there. Bethel Park High School Top 21. Smoking Jim shocked because he never heard of Handbell Ringers of Southminster Presbyterian. Admission is free, but donations are accepted to benefit the Bethel Park Community Foundation. I'll be there handing out bagged cookies. You need a vaccine card and wear a mask, and seating is limited. You can call 412-851-2910 and get more information. But check it out. Great event. Great way to spend the afternoon on the 12th. So check it out. Next up, this nice lady, Kathleen. We'll see what A2 can do. So far, he's on fire. Look at that. He gave thumbs up. There's Kathleen. When she contacted me, she had watched our show, and she had a kidney function of 17%. It's down to 16%. She asked if I could help get her a living donor like my son, and she got a living donor. When she gets worse to 15 function, then she can get her transplant, so possibly sometime next year. She'll notify us who the donor is, but congrats to Kathleen, and hope she's doing well, and if she's watching the show, hello, Kathleen. You're in our prayers. All right. I've already mentioned Bethel Park Community Foundation. Whoops. I'm testing A2. Thumbs up. Look what he did. Bethel Park Community Foundation has grant money for you and your group's project or activity, money from $100 to $5,000 in grants. And if you're helping others in the Bethel Park, we like helping you. We've given out $1 million in 25 years. We just had our biggest event, the Bethel Bounty at Crown Plaza, and it raised all kind of money there. Largest fundraiser of the year, helps the Bethel Park Community Foundation. To get an app, go to bpcf.org. Tell us what you need money for in our group. We've done Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, high school kids, special interest groups, all kinds of different things in our community. There's money for you. All right, we got that good sheet from A1. Look at this, he's on fire. I want you for BPTV. Tell them Uncle Al sent you. 412-831-3304. You can be a volunteer like Nick, A2, A1, and Quiet Ryan. You can be just like him. He's back there helping, what is it, Smoking Jim says, with the ones and twos? I just thought there's levers back there. I never saw 1-1 or 1-2. But Smoking Jim knows he actually passed an editing, well, maybe he didn't pass, but he took an editing class at PCTV. Yes. And we have no records like any degrees he has from high school or college. And this editing class he took.
I played football.
Thank you, Smoking Jim's advocate. Bill, you could be here if you're in high school. We got a new young man, Smoking Jim, named Evan from high school. And he's here tonight.
Evan's only in high school?
Yeah, Smoking Jim. The problem I have explaining stuff to you, I don't really make things up.
I wasn't carding.
I don't really make things up. So when I tell you that they're from high school,
You wouldn't card anyone.
yeah, you don't even know what a card
You
is.
could be 21 in high school.
Were you? Were you?
Hey, LB, before you go to the next one, I was watching Rocky 1 yesterday.
Okay.
And Apollo Creed was dressed just like you in the ring, man. He looked good, man.
Yeah. You know who Apollo, Smoking Jim, here's where you went to Gateway and you basically didn't.
I want you.
The biggest thing is you didn't learn anything about history. Now, if you look at this, you can see here. Pull up on this again, Anthony. This picture, that's Uncle Sam. You know who Uncle Sam is? He's a fictitious figure that they promote when they needed people to go to war and
Uncle
buy
Sam,
bonds.
United States.
It's Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam, United States.
And it was a red, white, and
letters.
blue character. Now, what Rocky did in that movie, they dressed Apollo Creed up
Yeah.
like me being Uncle Sam.
Okay.
So he was actually Uncle Sam in red, white, and blue, and it took you to today's date. What are we, the 7th?
We're almost in 2022.
Yeah, the 7th of December, 2021. And this isn't your first rodeo, but that's the first time that he heard that historical fact.
But you look good in your Gateway black and gold.
Where?
Yeah, because Gateway owns black and gold in the city of
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, you're right.
And
You know,
Gatorade.
not the Steelers
Gatorade
or the
was
Penguins or the Pirates.
Gatorade was
Well,
named
here,
after
Smoking
Gateway
Jim
Gators.
distracted me, but I'm not going to let it distract me. We'll let him carry on. But thanks for your input, Smoking Jim. It made no sense to me again, but I'm not picking on it. I'm just saying. Skeet Slevendowski sponsors Skeet Service Station, 6103 Library Road, right in Finleyville, 6 miles from our studio. They work on anything and everything that runs on gas. And Skeets is our man. And they just do great things. You can call them 724-348-4715. Cars, trucks, motorcycles, lawnmowers, weed whackers, Smoking Jim's vehicles, my vehicles. They do all that work on it. And it's just, they even have a smorgasbord on Mondays.
Do they fix bullet holes too?
No. No, but they did put part of a hoagie in the door for Smoking Jim.
Oh, that was nice.
I just wanted to share that they put a hoagie, and it was sort of fresh, so they could squeeze it in till it dried out. And then he wrecked the car and totaled it. But that's just a little sidebar, so check it out. And he sponsors What's on Your Mind. So guess what I got to do right now? What's on your mind? Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Coming at you.
you got to see Levine. I almost had to die for that one.
When? I missed that. It was so quick, I didn't notice.
But Al Levine, the talking machine,
Yeah.
by popular demand,
By who? One person?
yeah,
Okay.
Anthony from Chick-fil-A that goes by Tony.
They
I
call
get
him Tony at
confused.
work.
Okay, but then he calls Anthony here. I get confused.
No,
But-
what's confusing?
All Anthony's are Tonys, right?
No.
Okay.
We've definitely had this.
But he wanted my top 10 baseball. And with all due respect to pitchers, they can't make my top 10 because they're only part-time. You got to be full-time.
Wow.
No, once every 4 or 5 days, you can't make my top 10 list. So
If a pitcher
with all
throws a
due
shutout-
respect-
Smoking Jim, I got to do a disclaimer on this.
Don't throw a heater.
I'm gonna do math for you real quick.
Smoking Jim says he was a pitcher. We don't believe it. We have no proof of it.
I could throw heat.
And he doesn't even know what heat is. He thinks it's what Shaq puts on his back. And then it's cold. It's cold heat. So he knows how to work with cold heat.
Smoking Jim. Just a note for you. Season in baseball is 162 games, and if you had 2 pitchers that threw a shutout every game, you'd have about 65 wins in your season. That's
I'm not saying that they don't contribute. You know,
they might be the
I don't
most
say they-
important position
but
on
they
the
only
field.
play once every 5 days.
That's about 65 wins.
With 2
if you
pitchers,
have
with
quality-
how many for 20 wins?
Let's say they pitch every 5 days. So if
Yeah.
you had 2 pitchers pitch every 5 days that won their
that's-
games, that would give you 65 wins in a
Nah.
season. Yeah.
No, that's 30-something wins. They ain't winning like that.
I said if you had 2 pitchers, one pitcher would get you about
Yeah.
33 wins, but if you had 2 quality pitchers,
When's the last time a pitcher had 30 wins?
Denny McClain.
That.
You don't
that's
even
my
know
point.
what year because you weren't watching it then.
Danny Murto?
No, he was a manager.
Is he in the Hall of Fame? But here's my
Are
top
you a
10.
lawyer? Now you're asking questions that you know the answer
Here's my
to.
top 10. Here's my top 10.
Tony from Chick-fil-A, you got to put up with Smoking Jim. He has 15 names for you right now, and they aren't pitchers.
All right.
I was just
Ten-
trying to defend pitchers.
10B.
Nick, I appreciate you.
10B.
What did I tell you?
Shoeless.
There's 11 names.
Shoeless Joe Jackson. 10A, can't argue with this, Ricky Jackson. 10B, Josh Gibson. 10A, Mark McGuire. Number 8. Quit laughing at Mickey Mantle at number 8. Why are you laughing at Mickey?
Oh, it's Smoking Jim.
Who's
I
Ricky
got to
Jackson?
interrupt you.
Who's
Yeah,
You went from what, 10C, D, B, A.
I'm on 7 now.
How did you get up to 8 when you were doing 10A, B, and C?
Let me go over the list again.
Yeah.
No, 9A is Mark McGuire.
Yeah. 10 is Shoeless Joe. 10B is Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Okay.
10A is Ricky Henderson.
Okay.
Ricky
Not-
Henderson?
Yeah.
You said Ricky Jackson.
Ricky Henderson.
He said Jackson.
9B.
Wait, Nick, can you wipe his glasses off? They're fogged
You're not
up.
having a stroke, are you?
9B.
He's had them already. He had a quadruple bypass, but yeah.
9B is Josh Gibson.
Just so you know, you mentioned Ricky Jackson, and you
Ricky
mentioned,
Henderson.
yeah, but you said Jackson,
Okay.
and now you corrected it, but you started out 10B, 10C, and then you didn't go with 10. You went with 9B.
You didn't hear. Good.
You weren't saying good.
Be clean up.
Also, how do you compare Josh Gibson with a bunch of Major League Baseball players?
You
'Cause
got
Josh-
something against the Negroes?
No, but it's unfair to.
Number 9A is Mark McGuire.
We gotta put the disclaimer.
Oh my goodness.
Smoking Jim's statements are not based on anything factual, and he isn't a racist, but he brings out the race card very early in our show because he thinks it's entertaining.
Chip was in right now. Oh, baseball. All right, I'm not
All right,
gonna,
number
I'm not
8,
gonna interrupt anymore.
Mickey Mantle. No problem there.
What number?
Number 8. Number 7, Tad Williams. No problem there.
Who?
Ted Williams.
Seventh.
Number 6, Ty Cobb.
You got to be kidding me.
You don't think
You don't
Ty
know.
Cobb
I'm just
should be
waiting.
on the list?
You don't know baseball.
Keep
but
keep
go
going.
ahead.
Keep going.
Okay. Number 5B, Hank Aaron.
You still don't know baseball.
Number 5A, Barry Bonds. Number 4, Roberto Clemente. Any problem there?
Yeah.
I have problems with
he's-
everything.
Clemente's a little too high.
Number
but-
3, Joe DiMaggio.
Who did he play for?
He played for the Yankees.
Okay, just checking.
And he sold coffee makers. Number 2, Willie Mays, right? Number 1B, Babe Ruth. And number 1, with 17 All-Star games, 3 World Championships, League MVP, World Series MVP, Rookie of the Year, 303 batting average, and 4,256 hits, Pete Rose. Charlie Hustle, number 1.
We have to shut this down. Smoking Jim has put guys that are banned from baseball in there. So how they can make your list is only like hearsay.
No, I don't disagree with the
Thank
names.
you. Thank you.
I don't. But that order's terrible.
Hold it. What about Honus Wagner?
You said only 10.
How do you put Babe Ruth as 1B? What did Babe Ruth do that made you not say
He don't
he's the
know.
top guy?
He's not Pete Rose.
Pete Rose.
I'm done asking.
They're even.
I'm done asking questions.
1B and 1A is even. That's
Smoking-
even.
So
Even
you
Steven,
said that Babe Ruth had the same impact in his career as Pete Rose?
in my opinion.
Smoking Jim, here's why your opinion, I have to disclaim it, it's so far off that Babe Ruth changed the game of baseball.
Yes, he did. He said like him and Mark McGuire.
Mark McGuire should not be on the list.
Smoking Jim,
He saved baseball.
Mark McGuire?
Yes. Or was you too young to remember?
But he was a part of one of the biggest scandals in baseball. Steroids.
Taking a few little tablets
well,
here and there.
let me give Smoking Jim's philosophy because I'm totally against his list. I'm a traditional baseball guy.
Do you like some of it?
Very little. Very, very little. I've been a fan of baseball my whole life. That's the longest time that I know of a sport is my first love is baseball.
Yes.
And I read about it many times. I even gave you the Negro Baseball League history that you only read 19 pages. So that shows that your lack of interest in baseball, truly. And with your statements like this, what you base it on is how you pick Hall of Fame people. It's whether you like somebody and you can get tickets from them. So, and you can't do either one on our show. So your list, Tony from Chick-fil-A, this is unacceptable for the talking machine to have a list like that presented and be an honest baseball list, because he left out Hall of Famers that were in the first class of Hall of Fame. And you put Babe Ruth as 1B. He's the greatest baseball player, in my opinion, ever.
You can't get higher than 1.
What, you put him 1B? It's like,
Yeah.
no, Babe Ruth
1B is
Ruth
1.
was great, but Pete Rose
They was
definitely
good.
had the same
It was
influence.
easy.
Here, let me show you. Here's 1. Here's 1B.
No, see here. It's
No.
all on 1. This is the first
And
floor.
Gateway, I got to disclaim it, they do a different math level. 1A would be the top, 1 would be top, 1A, 1B.
What's the first letter of the alphabet?
Show me that.
What's the first letter of the alphabet?
show
What's the
me
first letter of the
The
alphabet?
first letter is
Yeah.
1. The first number is 1.
Yeah, that's.
First number
I
is
rest
1.
my case. Thank you, Smoking Jim. We got to move on. And Tony, that's invalid. His list is invalid officially.
He did come up with the list.
But he had 16 on the list.
Well, that's what Tony said. He
right.
said he said you made a list. Congratulations on making
But
it.
it's not an official one. He can go back to counting chicken in the 9-piece dark meat bucket right here in Bethel Park. Tell me how many pieces of dark meat are in a 9-piece bucket.
I can only get a 10-piece.
Okay, that shows you we don't have a clue. All right, thank you, Smoking Jim. Nick Callis, what's on your mind?
Well, today seems like opposite day because fucking Jim talked about baseball first, and I'm going to talk about football.
All right.
Notice something. Pitt won the ACC championship, so good for them.
H2P.
Hooray. What I noticed, Kenny Pickett did something a bit unprecedented. He tried a fake slide on their first drive, and that led to him scoring the first touchdown of the game. And I just wanted to make mention, because it was impressive. Kenny Pickett is agile, and I've got Kenny Pickett on my mind for my very important position segment. But for what's on my mind, when you bring fake slides into football, I think that's a bad idea.
Let me explain what should have happened. With my history as my dad being a referee, if they go by the letter of the rule, a flag should have been thrown then because he was attempting to go down.
Yeah.
And that could cause other players to get hurt egregiously.
Well, what I saw too was on the replay. I saw one of the replays where like the defensive player saw him start to go down, and then the
They
defensive
slowed
player
down.
stopped. He stopped, and then Pickett kept running, and it was like, oh, whoops, he's still running. Now I got to get back into position and try to make a tackle. Nobody was ready. So, I mean that's really what I'm going to present is that
Later.
it should no now.
Oh,
I'm going to
okay.
talk about Pickett later, but now I'm talking about the fake slide. Definitely shouldn't be a thing if you want defenders to respect that a quarterback wants to go down and not get hit, then you can't fake that, because if you start faking it, me as a linebacker, when I played it, if a quarterback fake slid, the next time that I'm running at the quarterback, I don't care what position the quarterback's in, I'm hitting the quarterback because you have now broken my trust in you to actually go down and use that technique the way it's intended. So that's what's on my mind, but congratulations to Pitt. And Kenny Pickett's going to be in my next segment, so
Oh,
stay
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Teaser. There you go.
That'll be in our next segment section. All right, what's on my mind? First, I want to thank Michael Parrish, Pete Kasich, Mark Richard, Ron Arnone, Tony, Michelle Seth Sealing, Vincent Jackson for all watching and replying to our show. We appreciate this on
Oh,
Facebook
Vinny Jackson went to
Live.
high school with me.
Yeah, well,
He's tuned into our show.
I appreciate him recognizing this.
Thanks, Vinny.
Nick keeps telling me younger people are watching my show.
And he's one of them.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That's why I did a little shout out.
I'm sorry all
before-
these people got to hear Smoking Jim's list.
That list, I can't even talk about it. I'm in a state of shock. I hope he doesn't choke on that bite of pizza because I think he bit a finger off. All right, what's on my mind is the Steelers. I thought, here we go again, another Steeler game. all of a sudden, Big Ben can throw 17 points in the fourth quarter. What an exciting nail-biter of a game, and we won the game. So that was great. Big Ben announced before the game that this will be his last year. So with good reason. We can see he's slowed down, but he still has that arm in crunch time. So I was proud to see the Steelers win that game. And I've been a Pitt fan for most of my life. My daughter went to Penn State, so I have Penn State, things that I root for them at times. But I'm so happy with all my Pitt friends and, people that have gone to Pitt, and it's just a great accomplishment. I can remember back in the 70s going to games at Old Pitt Stadium, seeing Notre Dame playing Pitt there, and it was so cool walking down into the Pitt Stadium. And one of my favorite things is at Sips Sports Bar. I always heard of this guy called the Kamikaze Kid, and it's Chuck Bonasort. We ended up meeting him. He loves me and Smokin' Jim. He always goes, "Why does Smokin' Jim get all the women?" And he has a contract right on the Pitt campus to sell their gear. So he has championship gear. I'm just giving a promotion to Chucky Bonasort. Buy his gear right there. You get discounted prices. He's just a great guy, legendary guy in Pittsburgh, and truly a nice guy. So just a shout out to them and all the Pitt fans. So happy to see that you won, and proud of Kenny Pickett, and we'll talk about him later, as Nick teased. And we're going to come back with some fiction and fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac. I'm holding my breath on this one.
Steelers show blitz. He throws the pass up. It's going to be picked up. James Harrison has it. He's running up the sideline. 25-30.
Can you tell me where you were on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock?
No. Can you tell me where it was at 7 p.m. on Tuesday?
What if I told you I can? What if I told you I know exactly where you are every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock?
Every Tuesday night? Why would I be doing the same thing every Tuesday night?
Maybe because you like pizza.
What are you getting at?
We have your fingerprints all over the switcher in the control room. I can smell the olive oil's pizza on your breath. I think you know exactly what I'm getting at.
You can't prove anything.
We have eyewitnesses that can place you at the scene. You might as well just come clean.
Okay, I admit it. I help broadcast Pittsburgh Sportsline live every Tuesday night at 7 on BPTV.
I know you do, Anthony, because I'm there too.
What?
Because I'm the VIP.
So check out the VIP, Al Levine, the Talking Machine, and the rest of the lively crew on Pittsburgh Sportsline every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock on BPTV.
Okay.
Steelers show blitz. He throws the pass up. It's going to be picked up. James Harrison has it. He's running up the sideline.
25-30. Thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. My man, the MVP of BPTV. My man, Nick. And I tell you what.
What happened to the VIP?
Huh?
You said
You
the
forgot.
MVP. Are you
What'd I
okay?
say?
Are you
What'd I
okay?
say?
You said the MVP.
Huh?
Are you okay?
Did I say that?
Yeah, Smokin' Jim, we need a timeout.
you
Take a deep breath. Inhale deeply.
What you put in this water?
It's what's in your
Nursery
water.
water.
But I gotta salute the captain
Who?
of the show, A1 Anthony, never a here out of place. Back there with my main man.
How do you get to be captain?
He's back there with my main man, Ryan, one of the
Okay.
greatest editors, better editor than me.
Anybody would be.
And then back there with 21-year-old Ernie.
Hold it. Time out.
I never wanted to leave college, but I wanted to leave high school.
We terminated.
We're having. I got to disclaim this because
It took me 14 years to get my college degree, but I got out of high school on time.
Well, Smoking Jim, I don't know what truth serum you're drinking, but he's been hit so many times, and I don't make fun of CTE, but this is witnessing CTE because we just talked
Would you call it Ernie?
His name's not Ernie, Evan. Evan.
He done changed his name already.
No, Evan. Evan.
What school he go to?
He still goes to school.
Let me explain. Bethel Park.
Is he student teacher?
No, he's going to school.
Okay. All right, Evan. Good to meet you, man. If y'all say so.
No, here, let me explain something. He told me what his name was because I asked.
I hope he's a senior.
He's not.
He is a senior. Oh, he is.
Oh, is he? All right.
All right, good, man. All right, it'll change his name from Ernie to Evan. All right.
It never was Ernie.
We got Tony.
Hold it, before you're gone, speaking of Tony from Chick-fil-A, he said, taking a quote from the famous Smoking Jim, Kenny Pickett is the best white quarterback in this year's college football. Thank you, Tony, otherwise known as Anthony and Carrick.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to get moving quick on this list, but
What list?
You've been going at lightning speed, man.
on Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac, I tell you what, we had our 7th annual City League Hall of Fame banquet.
Congrats.
And the participation amongst white people was the best we ever had on staff. We had 3 white models, Natalie, Allie, and Sarah. Allie got a boyfriend. And we had Savannah. We had a girl from Puerto Rico by the name of Lola.
Smoking Jim, I got to interrupt you. This is the City League Hall of Fame?
City League Hall of Fame.
Now, just for all your fans, we all know why Smoking Jim talks about women, but I'm assuming a City League Hall of Fame had inductees.
Yes.
And you didn't mention that yet in the first 5 minutes.
I might get to one.
What's her name?
But I just wanted to mention Lola. She's from Puerto Rico. She volunteered for us.
I don't know Lola.
And everybody knows London. So you
I don't know
London.
Lola.
You know London, right?
I know London.
But
no, thanks for promoting the women there, buddy, and the great turnout.
But I'm promoting white people.
Why?
Participation. We had Dan Bogan,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Sportsline Hall of Famer, and we had the
Oh, you wrote me down as MVP.
we had the VIP.
Hold it.
A BPTD.
Disclaimer, he was MVP when you thanked him. Now he's VIP, back to what his segment is.
VIP. Nick with the great voice. We had.
Was he allowed to use his voice?
He used his voice
3 times.
We had.
Three whole times.
We had Kevin, and we had Bagumba. I don't think I need to tell you
But
that
he's
Bagumba was black. Do I need to say it, Tony? Did we just assume Bagumba's black, or do I need to say it? Bagumba was a.
Where is he from?
Was a black co-host, huh?
Where's he from?
Homewood.
Okay.
But Al Levine, the Talking Machine, I'm one of the founders of the City League Hall of Fame.
I remember 7 years ago.
Also, you were there that year.
It's a shame I had to leave early.
You had to leave early.
Because we had no way to film.
And now I'm the director of the City League Hall of Fame. And thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. And I always say, as long as I'm on the committee, that Curtis Martin and Big Cat Williams and several other guys, Jimmy Lincoln and Russell Friedman, will never get into the City League Hall of Fame. And I've been taking a lot of heat, and me and Russell Friedman became friends on Facebook because I don't like people that say that I'm talking about them behind their back. I like to talk about them and let them know you'll never get in the City League Hall of Fame. Russell Friedman from Alderdice was 6'7", 290 pounds. Won the national championship at Virginia Tech, played 7 years in the NFL, was a starting left tackle for the Denver Broncos and the Oakland Raiders, what a gentleman.
Yeah.
And Al Levine, the talking machine, the reason that I would never put him in the Hall of Fame is because his senior year, which was the fall of 1986, you weren't born yet.
No.
Gateway played Alderdice at
Okay.
Alderdice, and Gateway beat them about 60-1 first down. And late in the game, Russell Friedman, at 6'7", started beating up on some of my young Gateway guys. And for that, he forfeited his right to ever get into the Hall of Fame. Al Levine talking about, I never sugarcoated it, Al. I told everybody. Every station I was ever on, Russell Friedman would never get in. And I even seen him at church a few months later.
Yeah.
He went to Second Baptist Church in Homestead.
Yeah.
And I remember they not baptized him, but put a little oil on his forehead. You ever go to a black church and put oil on your forehead?
They do that.
And then you had the Holy Ghost? No?
They do that at, like, not just black
You have the
churches?
Holy Ghost, you run around the church afterwards? You don't do it. It's a little bit different at your church, isn't it? But anyhow, Mountain of a Man.
What's it have to do with Nick's church?
Mountain of a Man, and I'm going to wrap it up with this, Al Levine, the talking
I
machine.
hope so.
Matter of fact, he just texted me a couple months ago. He seen me like the Steel City Beauties. And you talk about a gentle giant, Al Levine, the talking machine. And he died suddenly
What?
at 52 years old.
You
Al
got to
Levine.
induct him in now.
Well, he's in God's army now, and he was a Christian.
Well, that's why you got to put him in the Hall of Fame.
Everybody
Honor him.
Everybody tells me what I got to do.
Well, you know why? You know why people tell you what you got to do?
Telling him on TV to all these people, ain't that better than getting inducted?
No. That's an easy way out.
You said I'm stubborn,
Yes,
so
you are stubborn, and
I'll pray about
let
it.
me just add that you're prejudiced.
I'll pray about it.
You're very prejudiced against
But
people
I'm so
that you
lost.
feel slighted Gateway.
But I tell you,
Okay, thank you.
I miss him, and may he rest in peace. What a great, great player. What a great, great human being. Always treated me, never said anything disrespectful to me. You know, he asked why. I told him why over and over and over again.
Well, Smoking Jim, with a gentle giant treating you with respect, I think you owe him to put him in the City League Hall of Fame, and maybe you can get 50 of his family to come out to your event.
I tell you what, if the Denver Broncos give me money.
Okay.
Speaking of money, while we're on all this,
But
hey.
you may be right. That may be the right thing to do. Al Levine. the
No, I
talking
know it
machine.
is.
So I'll
You just
think
said
about
what
it.
a nice gentleman he was and
He was.
respectful of
He
you.
really was.
And a God-fearing man.
Yes, he
Very
really
religious
was.
guy.
He really was.
And you are too, so you got to stick together with
But
those
he
guys.
never apologized for the beating he put on some of my boys.
Did you ever have a fight?
I had over 500 fights. So.
Did you ever apologize?
For fighting?
Yeah.
No.
Then why would he?
Well, if he want to get in the Hall of Fame, he better apologize.
All right, we're moving on. With comments like that, I can't take it no more. I've reached my limit today. On this winter day in Pittsburgh, I'm at my limit.
Wow.
Let's go to Nick. Tea
Oh,
time.
baby, I got an opinion today. More football, uncharacteristic, but excited to give this opinion. So, Kenny Pickett is a finalist for the Heisman Trophy. I'm excited to hear that. He should at least be there and be one of the finalists.
What
and
an
he
honor.
Is, so
What an honor.
goals met there. I'm not sure he's going to win it, but I'm glad that they're recognizing him as a finalist. Now, my opinion today, before, I was skeptical on whether the Steelers should consider Kenny Pickett as a quarterback. I said, why are they going to do that? Pitt players playing for the Steelers haven't worked out great, in recent history. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, okay, well, I was comparing him to James Conner at first. James Conner didn't pan out that well. But,
Yeah, but look what James Conner's doing now.
I realize that he was not.
How could they not utilize James Conner?
Well, they could. I think that.
How could they not?
Le'Veon Bell, I think, had a hand in James Conner's lack of success in Pittsburgh because there was a lot of drama surrounding that. And James Conner, whether he wasn't ready or whether Le'Veon Bell was a distraction to Conner performing, that's a unique situation. But when we think about Kenny Pickett and that fake slide, I saw a snapshot on Facebook of how close his knee was to the ground before he took back off, stood up, and ran. And I'm like, that dude is agile. All the other quarterbacks in the AFC North, guess what they are? They're agile. They're mobile quarterbacks. They know how to run, and they can also, throw pretty well. You got Joe Burrow, who had a hot start with the Bengals. They're not doing great now, but neither is anybody in the division. Really, nobody's standing out. Lamar Jackson, primarily running quarterback, though he's adjusted his game in recent years. But Kenny Pickett is the next new shiny piece on the Steelers that could propel them to do better within the next 1 to 2 years. I don't think he'll save the Steelers, but I think that he will be that catalyst that grows into the whole organization as they, create a new face and a new structure for the team moving forward in the next 2 to 3 years. He's the guy. I now think that they should consider Pickett.
Well, won't we have to lose more to try to get him?
Oh, that's what I was going to say too. I was like, I had another point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I don't know how high he's going to go up. I think that his confidence is great now too because he got an extra year to play. I thought maybe it's a little unfair that he gets to play a 6th year, but also maybe that gives him more reps. Maybe that builds up his confidence so when he comes into the NFL and he plays for a team like the Steelers, the Steelers aren't going to ruin him like several other NFL franchises have done with quarterbacks in recent history. I don't know. I don't know how high teams are going to value him, but I think that the Steelers keep him close to home and use his mobile abilities, and they're gonna be a contender. I don't know where other teams would value him though. What's up?
6-year high school didn't hurt Evan, but hey, listen, he could be the fish.
He didn't put 6 years in.
He could be the fish that saved Pittsburgh. But I lost a lot of respect
How
for
did
Kenny.
you bring a movie reference into this?
I lost respect for Pickett because all that Pitt did for him this year, he's going to make a ton of money. He may have a successful professional career, and he's going to turn his back on his teammates and not playing a bowl game. I can't respect that. I can't respect it. I can't respect it.
It's a bowl game.
I can't respect it.
They already won the championship. It's a bowl game.
Finish what you start.
He already put 6 years in. He's on overtime.
Where's
Where's your logic?
You don't trust Nick Paddock come in and
Who?
Wow. The backup quarterback of the Pitt Panthers?
Listen, Pitt has done more for this guy this year than any other player in the country.
And you don't think they would understand if he was just
I
like,
don't
hey,
understand. I don't care what they do. I don't understand. I won a Peach Bowl championship.
You can't even understand why Mark McGwire shouldn't be on a top 10 list in baseball. You don't understand some more simple concepts, which is okay.
I'm sure Machine will agree with me.
I disagree.
We're old school.
Let me say it again. Before you got out of your mouth, I disagree.
You don't think he should play in the bowl game?
He can do whatever he wants because they're
if
not
he doesn't
paying.
play, though, it's not.
They're not
it's not a big
paying
deal.
these kids. Whatever you owe them, they've taken advantage of every college kid out there, except with the new NCAA rules where they can get different face endorsements and things like that. Like, look at you. If you would have got paid being a star running back at whatever that Cal U University was back then, you would have had money now and you could be living an easy life.
Smoking Jim, when I played baseball at Waynesburg, I couldn't even hold a Gatorade bottle on a picture without getting fined. So
Gateway, we don't like that.
I couldn't even hold a bottle of Powerade, or I couldn't hold
Really?
Like if you saw.
You can explain to him after.
If you saw the Apple logo on my phone, that's a fine.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well.
See, there's a lot that he doesn't know. Because he does something that a lot of people don't do. He doesn't read. So when you don't read and you're a writer, you got nothing but trouble. And that's why we have these little discussions. We're going to move on from Nick. amazed. I just had a look at A2 did that on location for the talking machine.
A2 did that?
I said it
We
each
definitely
week.
established that.
I said he's swagoo to you, but he's my graphic guy with On Location. How cool was that? And I've said it each week, so somehow you miss it in between bites. So I understand that. Some people, they give me the reports. First of all, thanks to Chip watching us, Christine, Patrick, Joe Board's watching us. Pete Kasich said, don't forget the bad decision by the Steelers on Dan Marino. And when you have rumors of coke, Pete, if you remember, that could have been why they passed on him. So that's just, something that was heard back then.
70s were a time.
Because look what would have happened if we would have had him. And then how many other quarterbacks did we get rid of? What, Johnny Unitas? How many
Len
other?
Dawson.
Len Dawson. Anybody else do well? They did well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
So those things happen. On location, nothing really going on. On location, we're waiting for next year when boxing kicks in, and maybe we can do different events in bars and restaurants, when it's safe to go out again there and do that. So we're looking forward to some things like that. So we'll see next year what we can do on location. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Steelers with my Steeler scout and Nick. And did you guys watch the game? What were your thoughts?
I was covering the game with the fan. I thought it was another terrible game. What is the AFC North? I don't know. It's just,
here's my thought.
The Steelers might win the division.
They were saying how good the North is. I'm saying how mediocre the North is.
Yeah, I think Joe Burrow got out to a good start because his anticipation to come back was high.
Well, he healed up. Yeah.
Right, but then he didn't. And then, what are the Ravens? It's like one game they're great and Lamar Jackson's doing well and getting the ball around and running well, and then the next he's just throwing interceptions, fumbling the ball. He had never fumbled. Remember that? That was a big storyline. He hadn't fumbled since middle school.
Yeah.
And now he's just throwing up baked goods for the defense to just take away. I have no idea. You just can't predict what's going to happen. I'm always whenever I hear predictions or I think of my own before an AFC North game, I'm like, okay, well, since that's what makes sense, I'm just going to pick what doesn't make sense, the unpredictable.
Well, even look at our team. Got a 39-year-old quarterback. We think he's never going to retire. He says he is going to retire. 17 points this game. He come back, wins the game. And how can he make all these completed passes at the end of the game and beginning of the game? We don't know which way the ball's going.
It's always the adjustments at halftime matter, but too
or
much.
Or do they? How about sometimes we don't make any adjustments? It's shocking that you have a coach at times saying we didn't make the adjustments that we needed to. Well, why do you have halftime except to make these adjustments? I played football, Smoking Jim did.
How about practice to look at film and be like, hey, let's make a game plan
for
the game?
This goes to Keith Butler never calling any play or designing any type of plays on defense. It's all done by Tomlin.
Yeah, that doesn't work. I don't know. You need multiple heads to look at a thing and make the best decision. Smoking Jim knows about lack of team from organization. If you don't have a team, right, and one person's making the decision.
You mean personally? He just went through this.
Yeah, personally. Yeah,
he just went through this.
Yeah, but no, I mean there. I'm sure many of our viewers out there have had a situation where you've got one person trying to take control of the whole situation, and then other ideas aren't presented and other circumstances aren't considered. Well, it's the same thing with the Steelers. If
this sounds like this just happened recently.
Well, if Tomlin is making all the decisions and not hearing from the coaching staff, and the coaching staff has little influence, then you're not preparing for
great
every
analogy.
situation.
Now I understand your analogy, knowing with what you and Smoking Jim just went through.
Well, number one, Lamar Jackson can't throw. I've been saying that for how long? He's exciting. But I think to play quarterback, you need to be able to throw the football, and he can't throw the football. Joe Burrows, I never was sold on Joe. I told you guys that before. He had some of his moments, but, he got blown out at home. He lacks leadership skills.
Has your opinion on Baker Mayfield changed yet?
One of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. Not only tough, but Baker Mayfield is up there. But I think Big Ben
I disagree.
Listen, Big Ben hasn't told me.
Wait, I disagree. Did you mention Baker Mayfield?
I love Baker Mayfield, and you know that.
I disagree.
But let me just say this about Big Ben before you get to your disagreement. Big Ben hasn't told me yet that he's going to retire. I don't think that you can have a white tight end who's the second best tight end, in my opinion, number 88 in Steeler history, second only Eric Green, already better than Heath Miller, and retire. I don't think Ben is just now starting to get on the page a little bit with the greatest wide receiver in Steeler history, Claypool, and now you have, when he's not dropping touchdown passes, he's capable of scoring 2 or 3 touchdowns a game in number 18. So the weaponry is there. You just need an offensive line. But Big Ben's a
Great
winner.
point. Let me.
Big Ben's a winner.
I've been picking on you, but that's the greatest point that you brought up. Each week I watch the line play, and I always tell my son, I go, look, there's only 3 or 4 of the defensive players hitting Najee before he gets 1 yard. And he goes, Dad, their line is terrible. I go, look, there's 5 this time. There's 6. How are they all in the backfield with the quarterback and Najee? And to me, you know, maybe I'm naive, played football a long time ago, but you're supposed to block the guy in front of you. If you can't block him, fall in front of him, grab him, something to hold him up for a second. You were a running back.
We learned from Dave Lamar and on inside linebacker. That's football. That's
As
your
a center,
scheme.
they made me go the second level to hit the linebackers back in the 70s. How can this not happen in the 2020s?
Well, do you guys all agree with me? Tony
No.
agrees. Do
No,
you
no, he
agree
don't agree.
with 1 more year from Big Ben?
No.
No.
Here,
No.
let me quote Smokin' Jim from 3 years ago. We should get rid of Big Ben and not sign him now. 3 years ago.
That silence is telling.
Look up the film.
I got the archive. I'll pull it up.
Look up the film 3 years ago. So I don't know how he must have got hit in the head this weekend with
Well,
his
you could-
events.
3 years ago, you could have got a first rounder for him. That's what I wanted. I didn't want to pay all that money for an Asian quarterback when you could have got
No,
a
you
first.
But
can
now we
ex-
want to keep him? We want to keep him as he
Yeah,
ages
because we
still?
don't have an option better than him.
Hey, Kenny Pickett. Yes.
Well, on that happy note, Smokin' Jim came to his senses for 15 seconds. I'm honored that he did. Please stay Joey strong.